I love costumes. I love getting dressed up because it really helps my imagination make the leap to believe that I am who I say I am. You've seen a lot of stage performers on our show, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that make the performers look so good and that make the production come to life. So we're really excited to have someone different on the show today. We're going to bring you a costume designer, Lauren Wilcher.
Do you have a favorite costume?
We did West Side Story in my senior year of high school, and I had a costume. It was Maria's slip that she puts on when they're like waiting to make the dress that she's going to wear to the dance the night that she meets Tony, and I loved that. And it was so simple, but I just loved putting it on, and I don't know, it just always made me feel like I was Maria. What about you?
I did, actually. One time I was in a play, David and Lisa, and I really felt like my character would have a weird smell. So I got to wear this white t-shirt and pajamas on stage, and I covered the t-shirt in Italian dressing.
Love that.
Thank you.
You know, anything to help you get into character, right? I know, and I read that quote at the beginning, but I love that because it's so true. It is like the costume is what transforms you into the person you're playing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And our guest today is going to tell us more about that, so should we bring her in?
Yeah, let's get her. Yay! Lauren's here!
She's here!
Yay! Hello!
Okay, really quick, tell everyone how you two met.
Lauren and I met through church, which was really great. And we quickly discovered that we both love the performing arts and all things creative and Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival, which we'll talk about later just because I'm a nerd and love it. Can we dive into questions?
Yes, please.
How did you get started in costume design?
I've always sewn. My mother taught me how to sew, and so I've been sewing since I was like 9. Then my mom worked at a college or university, and she was like, you should volunteer at the costume shop. And so I did, and I just sort of went from there and kept going. I was like, I want to do this, and so I went to school.
What are some of your favorite projects that you've had the opportunity to be a part of?
Well, you have to be a little more specific because I've done both design, wardrobe, and construction.
Yeah.
So
Look at this illustrious career over here. Gotta narrow it down.
Maybe we should talk about the differences between each of them.
Sure. So wardrobe is where it's what happens during the show, during the run of the show. So I will do laundry and maintenance and clean up afterwards and running shows, so quick changes and the like. Dealing with actors, pretty much.
Sorry.
And then construction is just what it sounds like. You work in a shop and you build the costumes. And then design is, and what it says, it's you design the costumes. You come up with ideas of what you want them to look like based on a concept that a director gives you. So the show I just worked on was 12th Night. I'm actually pretty proud of. It's a really simple color palette, and the concept is sort of 1920s, 30s mixed with a little bit of urban, sort of smashed together, which is a lot of fun. Trying to figure out the balance of each, so like gold chains with tuxedos and so that's been a lot of fun to sort of figure that one out.
And you have some sketches, so let's look at them. Can you tell us how long does it take, to put one of these together?
A rendering like this, because this is a rendering of sketch, which is different.
Yes.
A rendering like this can take anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours. Like this is obviously a little rougher.
Ooh.
Just sort of a quick thing like
The coat, I love that coat.
yes, this coat.
I
So
want
like
this.
doing fur texturing can take a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do multiples
Yeah.
where you say, okay, this is the first, and then she'll take off the top layer, and this will be the next, and then she takes off the next layer, and this is what's underneath.
While we're talking about Shakespeare,
Yes.
too, can we talk about Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival?
Yes.
Because I love it.
Yes.
What was it like working with them?
I've been there for 3 summers now. They're always awesome because the people are amazing. But it's outdoor theater, which is always challenging.
The summer that I was there, it literally rained every day, and everyone was covered in mud because you're playing, it's under a tent, but for the actors, you're often like playing outside in the rain, in the mud, in the dirt, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine how fun that must be for you.
Okay, well, as we continue down the road of your career, not so far in that distance over there, was your time designing hats for the Rockettes.
Okay, designing was not correct.
Oh,
Not designing. As
we
we
have
learned, you
lots to
gotta
learn. I know,
learn
we gotta
these
get it
words,
right.
people.
For Radio City, I was a milliner, refurbing and cleaning the hats. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to work with beautiful hats that are always covered in glitter, and they're just spectacular. It is very stressful because it is the Rockettes, and it has to be very particular for each Rockette, and there are 80 of them. So it's like fitting something like 800 hats on all of these performers and making sure they fit perfectly so they can do all of their dance moves and they won't fall off.
I have one more question about the Rockettes too. For people that maybe saw the show this year, did you have a favorite hat that was worn?
I have a particular love for Snow, that piece that's near the end. And it's just a little swirly thing that sits on the side of their head with lots of glitter and rhinestones.
Okay, I have a question. So your mom was instrumental in getting you to, you know, pursue your dreams.
Yes.
And like anyone chasing a dream, especially here in New York City and in the arts, we all know it can be difficult. So I want to know what advice you would have for all those people.
Well, I would say just go for it. Find someone in your area, wherever you are, that sort of has some in. Get to know them, volunteer to help them out on something. Every customer needs help in some way, either with shopping or returns or stitching or whatever. They need help. So volunteer your time, they will love you for it. And then you'll have a great contact who can potentially pass you on to someone else in the future.
Well, let's talk about how people can follow you on social media if they would like to keep up with you.
Sure.
So your website is?
My website is www.laurenwilchercostumes.com.
Oh yeah! So, as you guys know, everyone who comes to our fabulous show of Just Off Broadway this season is winning a very special award. But the trick is, you have got to follow us on Instagram and Twitter if you want to find out what award we are going to give to our friend right here.
And to hear her acceptance speech too. Thank you for joining us today for another great episode with Lauren Wilcher on
Just Off Broadway.
Costume wardrobe malifers out there.
Sorry, a Milliner?
Wait, what was it? Milliner?
Milliner.
Milliner.